Greetings and welcome to another Sunday evening live stream. Want to start by saying hello to Maria, Bible U, otherwise known as Paula, Skeptic, and Jeff and Maria for taking the time to comment in tonight's live stream. I will try and read it as best I can and try and keep up with it for the time we're going, but we will also be covering a couple of subjects, watching some videos, so apologies if I do miss anyone in the live chat, but I really do appreciate anyone that takes the time to take part, and I will certainly be referring to it as best I can. Yeah, apologies for any background noise you might hear tonight. There is a wicked storm blowing. And I will just check the audio's playing back. Any feedback on that is appreciated. In fact, we're going to turn off the background music and we will get on with the stream. I'm also just going to quickly make the live chat more visible. There we go. Should be able to read that a bit easier now. Looks like Jeff is in hospital. I'm really sorry to hear that, Jeff. I do hope, as Skeptic and others have mentioned, really hope you're out of there soon. Thinking of you, definitely, and I'm really glad you could tune in. Hopefully you've got us belting out on the ward. I will be conscious of that before I make too many recommendations about avoiding treatment plans like the plague, but not to make light of anyone's situation. Okay, thanks for sharing that information, Jeff, and I'm really grateful you can make it this evening, as I am for the rest of you. Right, last week it wasn't last week, it was about 2 weeks ago I did my last live stream, and we looked at Kate Garraway and the passing of her husband. Could appear to be like a ridiculously insensitive subject to cover. And that is what tonight's video is about, because whether I know some of you guys are not in this part of this part of the world, I know Skeptic, and I know, if you're not in the United Kingdom, you may not be familiar with the name of Katie Hopkins. Again, depending on how much... Oh, can anyone hear the cat meowing in the background there? I had to wrestle the chair off of her anyway. I'm sure you've got your versions. Every country's probably got their Katie Hopkins. They're a media production. The name of tonight's stream, Kate and Katie. So we've got Katie Hopkins and Kate Garraway. And Katie Hopkins is actually somebody that I guess you could say is supposed to appeal to someone like me. That is the I'm the Katie Hopkins is the safety net for people such as myself that might not accept. If I say 2020 and 2021, what was the only thing going on there? As someone who was, a little, maybe offered an alternative narrative to that which we were reading or hearing about anytime you put the television on, and it's still going on. Nothing's stopped just yet. Oh, a new name in the chat, RabMCM32, lovely to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I don't believe I've seen you in the chat before. Is this the first stream you've caught? If so, I hope you enjoy it. We're going to be looking at, following on from last week's, following on from the previous stream we did. Let me see if I can find that one on my channel. We'll bring up the display a second, and last week's Negative Dignity, we did a stream looking at how the dignity of a supposedly seriously ill person, Derek Draper, who was the husband of Kate Garraway, and how if you buy this to be a real story, if you buy the passing of Kate Garraway to be legit, the passing of Kate Garraway's husband, Derek, to be legitimate, then then you have to kind of agree that she completely pimped out, well, she sold out her husband's dignity, so I called it negative dignity. Anyway, I'm not the only I also made a few predictions on that stream. Let's see if we can see them. What did I suggest might we see? We have not had Derek Draper's funeral yet. And just in case you're watching this stream for the first time and you think to yourself, how could you be, how could you be so heartless and make predictions about funerals? If I for 1 second thought a person, a genuine husband and father had passed away, I would never have the audacity, I'd never be sick enough to make a video on it for the first thing. I'd have respect for genuine people that lose members of their family. But as I covered in last week's stream, and I'm going to cover probably in this again tonight, I don't necessarily think Kate Garraway and Derek Draper fall into that category of real, genuine people. So if we go over to Twitter, or X as it's now called, we can find a tweet put out by, as I said, somebody supposed to appeal to people like me. So I'm going to mute myself for like just a second, and hang on, I've got to make the audio, bear with me just 1 second. I have to mess around with the audio in order that you will not hear an echo. Okay, I think I've done that now. Let's see. Okay, hopefully you should be able to hear this.
There's a documentary on the TV that you all need to watch. Yeah, it's a Kate Garraway documentary, so it's important that I finish on time for you tonight. And it's Kate Garraway, Life After Derek. Yeah.
Now, on the face of it, Kate has pointed out. All right, well, I'll let you watch it through. It's only 1:14, so yeah, we'll watch a couple more. We'll watch another 20-odd seconds.
There's also a book she's releasing to go with the documentary Life After Derek. He's only been dead a week. I tell you, this is where I get such a bollocking, so people go, wow. That's wait.
But by the way, just to point out, yeah, I do hope you were picking up the audio on that one. I believe you were.
Tomorrow in the comment, if I repost this or whatever I'm supposed to do with these things, people...
I'm not for 1 second, agreeing with Katie Hopkins on this. I think this video, as I said, this is a person that is aimed at catching people like me out. She headed back in 2021 and 2022, we had in this part of the United Kingdom lockdown, protests against... I think the ridiculous thing about it was they were doing protests even after the lockdown had lifted. It was right in the last days of it, and I even remember, Katie she led some of those demonstrations here in the United Kingdom, along with people like David Icke, and she's very, well, we'll read the tweet that goes with it. Important ITV documentary tonight, allegedly sponsored by Fizzer. Now I guess that means The Prick, and an accompanying book available wherever you get your 100th booster. So yeah, Katie is supposed to be anti, she was against the lockdown. She's against boosters, fizzers, whatever she calls it. Going back to a subject I said in 2024 I would not cover again, but it certainly isn't going away.
People will be like, that is a line. That crosses the line. How dare you lie?
This, by the way, what Katie's doing now is all prediction. She's already stating what comeback she's going to get. And okay, we'll let the rest of the video play out. But my suggestion is don't be caught out by people like this, Katie, and even if she's saying something you agree with, because she's not a million miles away from what we were saying in the last live stream, where I was saying, oh, we'll have a TV special, we'll have camera crews at the funeral, and whatever else we came up with, what was on our list. And I also said, we might even see like a statue, for example. I made a couple of other predictions that we're not going to see a horse-drawn cart, unlike a lot of other ones. Yeah, the wording I put in this evening's thumbnail, which was going to be the name of the actual stream, was Obnoxious Pink. The reason I said that is because all this person is being to anyone that doesn't, anyone that doesn't question why we were all locked down, why the government strongly recommended people follow their advice. I mean, they do that anyway, but not to such a degree as we had in 2022. Anyone who doesn't think that was a little bit off, she's supposed to be, appealing to us, but now, had I watched this video, I mean, when I first watched it, I saw they were doing a TV program about it. That's the first thing she says. Oh, I'm going to have to keep this video short because something very special is happening. We've got a Derek Draper documentary, Life After Derek. Well, so, I mean, I could have said, called it, although I would have been wrong because that as readers added context, they thought people might want to know. There Us No documentary called Life After Derek, and the documentary that was due to be shown has been withdrawn. Yeah, by sheer coincidence, there was actually a TV special scheduled, like within a couple of days of the guy passing. Although it was more specifically about Kate Garraway than it was her husband. So, yeah, despite what Katie Hopkins said, there was no Life After Derek. Or not yet, at least, but I certainly would not rule out the possibility of a TV special coming very soon. And Maria says you actually saw Katie on a couple of the demos. I'd be curious to know your thoughts on how she was. I mean, did she just come out for a couple of minutes while the cameras were there, and then once the cameras went, did she leave, or was she there? Yeah, I remember those protests. Now, on the one hand, I admire people for going out and standing up for what they believe. I did have someone on Twitter message me. I was actually trying to find the tweets, but I can't find it now. Or maybe I commented on one of their posts and they replied to me something along the lines of, if you're not attending these protests and you're not promoting them, then you are part of the problem. They were almost saying that these protests were in some way influential, like they in any way made a blind bit of difference. And I'm not, belittling those people that actually went and protested for. Let's see what we can find. Lockdown protest UK. I know the Daily Mirror or Daily Mail, I believe, did a special, a 2-page spread on David Icke. So many of these videos that we saw, color coded. As I said, I put the words in tonight's stream about obnoxious pink. I do think. Now, I actually got to say, I love that color. I don't love that color that she's wearing. Actually, no, I think that pink top that, the top itself, okay, not particularly nice, a bit obnoxious, you could say, but the color itself, I think, is awesome. Let's see if we can find any pictures of Katie Hopkins at the protests. Again, the red, I do actually believe we're looking at, I think this colouring is kind of, it's not accidental, put it that way. I do believe, and there's the orange, of course, which we do touch on numerology on this stream. I'm not, a lot of other content producers and people in general go into numerology in such deeper depths than me. All I know is that I've come to recognise a few of the numbers, as it were. I don't speak the language fluently. I don't speak Chaldean numerology, as well as probably those that set up all these sets, as it were. But I certainly recognise it. Okay, we don't want to get £2 on the live chat. Lovely to see Sunstar Thunder Lightning in the stream, in the live chat tonight. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for the kind words. I'm not sure if that was a reference to the Cardi B video we watched in the pre-show. Okay. Yeah, Katie is kind of it's interesting how obnoxious this person is on television, and is she letting us check out the digits on her hand? I'd be curious whether anyone would think Katie, I don't know, she doesn't look very feminine, I guess that's what I'll say. I'm not going to call it either way. However, Katie's video on Twitter, we won't get too sidetracked. This video that probably ended up, 4.6 million views this video got. Appealing to anyone that may have, trying to appeal to those who agree with what she says on the surface, but believe me, this person lives in the same paradigm. Is that the right word? She lives in the same street, you could say, as someone like Kate Garraway, the very person she's mocking in this video. I would like to think, as I say, when I make predictions on the funeral of Derek Draper, then I also give reasons why. All we see in this video is Katie Hopkins being basically horrible, obnoxious, laughing at the passing of someone's husband, but she doesn't give a reason. Is she saying the same as me? They're lying about Derek Draper. Should we let her have her last 13 seconds? We'll let her finish her piece.
Off. She just lost her husband. How dare you? That crosses the line. Or the other thing people were saying was, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed.
How does she know? She's only, at the time of recording this, she couldn't possibly know what kind of replies she would get. Well, I feel for her, but the whole thing reminds me of Captain Tom monetization. Yeah, I don't believe anywhere here does Kate Garraway call out the legitimacy of their marriage in the first place. Is she saying this is a complete production? Is she disputing, calling out the existence of supposedly what, for the last couple of years of his supposed life, Derek Draper was apparently fighting? Long bull spit is all I can bring myself to call it. I cannot say their words that they want us to use. Yeah, Maria says she's another Russell Brand, and I would say you're absolutely correct. To the point that yeah, it's what she's not saying as much as anything. She's not coming out and, I don't know. I've never heard her say it, but you know, I'm not sure. If she ever gives a shout out to one of my, if she ever shares a link to one of my videos, then I would be like, okay, nice one, Katie Hopkins. But until that time, I kind of think you're a bit of a fraud, I gotta say. I would say a double agent, turncoat. She is a media production, just like Kate Garraway. Hang on. I'm going to mute the desktop now, so if I do try and play anything with audio on the video, hopefully I'll remember to unmute the desktop. We'll see. Right. Yeah, I would say Katie Hopkins. I imagine she's probably been interviewed by Russell Brand. I'm not sure. We could do a search for that. But yeah, the video of her in her bright pink top telling people, laughing at Kate Garraway does nothing to convince anyone that they should change their views on, listening to the government, as it were. If anything, it just builds resentment and, yeah. This is the article by, I'm not sure who it was, The Mirror, I think. Kate Garraway supported as vile Katie Hopkins mocks grieving host over late husband's death. Which, of course, on the face of it, is indeed vile and disgusting. You don't mock people when they lose a loved one. But Katie gives no other reason. She doesn't justify why she's doing it. She doesn't say what I'm saying. Derek and Kate Garraway is, both come out of the same makeup department, would be my opinion. Hopkins first rose to fame in the series of The Apprentice. Probably more kind of scripted reality. Actually, on the subject of scripted reality, we will be playing another video either on the intermission this evening or at the very end of the stream, called Scripted Reality, about this kind of thing. Television programs presented as reality, but they're blatantly all scripted. What I remember Katie Hopkins being famous for was when she would say things like, oh, I wouldn't let my child bring back a friend called, I don't know, some chavvy name like Chelsea or, I don't know. They used some very specific names, and it just showed her as a posh, out of touch, disrespectful person. Designed to really rile up many people, but also probably a guilty pleasure for others. A lot of people do probably really like her cutting, offensive way. She's certainly very popular over on Twitter, I will say that. Rab MCM says that Katie states she is ex-army, so military, which isn't uncommon when it comes to big names. They're part of the inner echelons, you could say. I didn't know that though. We will perhaps have a look at that in a minute, because I hadn't heard that, but I could well believe it. Garraway spent 4 years caring for the former political lobbyist. Last week I called him a conservative spin doctor. He wasn't. He was a Labour lobbyist, a political lobbyist. So these are people that, for example, if you produced a load of weapons, say you were a weapons producer, for example, you would lobby, i.e. blackmail, bribe members of parliament in order to, say start a war. Wouldn't it be great, wouldn't it be great business if Britain went to war in, I don't know, Kosovo, for example? We could sell you all our weapons, that kind of thing. That is what I believe a lobbyist is. Somebody that tries to influence Parliament, or MPs. Whereas a spin doctor, which is what I called him, I think is someone that will they'll fabricate things such as, do you remember Paddy Ashdown? Well, if you're in this part of the world, and you're over the age of, I don't know, 35, you probably would remember Paddy Ashdown. He was the Liberal Democrat candidate for one of the general elections, and he was caught. I don't know, a big story came out that he had had an affair, and they changed his name to Paddy Pantsdown. Again, this is spin. This is exactly how the Lib Dems want their leader to be seen. That, as far as AFAIK, I'll say, as far as I know, that is what a spin doctor does. If you know otherwise, other or better or different, then by all means leave it as a comment or something in the live chat. Maria says Draper was Peter Mandelson's researcher. He visited and Mandelston visited and was photographed with Epstein on his island. Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find out Draper was very much part of that. Sandhurst. Let's see if we can find out about Katie's military background. Okay, I mean, so basically, when Katie Hopkins came out and said, "Oh, they've done a TV documentary, they're bringing out a book," this article points out there is no such interview or book being released by Garraway. Give it time, there will be. We will keep an eye out for that as best we can. And I do ask anyone out there watching this, if you do happen to see a book by, another book by Garraway talking about her struggles, please let us know. It would be good to know. Oops. So we're looking for Katie Hopkins Army. Okay, first answer of Bing. Wikipedia, of course, you have to look beyond the first page, the first result. They're rarely accurate. Okay, it would appear this is Katie Hopkins outside Sandhurst, did you say? Let's have a look at this picture. I think we've got to take a close-up on it. I think we need to look at these two people. I'm not sure. You could say slightly bizarre looking. They both got, well, the head to shoulder ratio would be something, but I suppose shoulder pads. Okay. Well, we'll let that one go for now. I guess that's Katie with her mother. Yeah, I've bought up, what's the word? Can't even remember what it is now. PSYOPs, for example. Yeah, that's a military thing, I believe. Sorry, I believe the military use there's governments that use psychological operations, but they will certainly use the military to push it home, as it were. Okay, well, yeah, I would probably point to the slightly misshapen ears. And I would say at the very least, this person has had a lot of surgery done. Could it be silicone all the way down below the eyes? Who knows? I would never rule such things out. Yeah, Kate Garraway's face is a lot of what I consider... Sorry, Katie Hopkins' face, just like Kate Garraway, has a lot of what I would say they call them identifiers. Things that they put in, so long as you see them, you're kind of convinced that you're looking at the right person. Let's see. I don't know. You'll have to make your judgment on that. But considering Katie was laughing at Kate Garraway, it does make me wonder, is she suspicious about the existence of people like, Kate Garraway's husband, for example? I would be interested whether she's ever been on the same program as Kate. Let's see. I'm guessing that they've probably interviewed each other in the past. I'd be very surprised if they hadn't. They definitely exist in the same paradigm, you could say. I don't know if that's the right word, but... Yeah, I am also... Is that meant to be... Okay, in the beginning of this live stream, we did a video about Cardi B and Lara Trump. In the pre-show it was, and how they did ridiculous things like, how you could tell they were faking their pregnancy, wearing fake moon bumps, which was a... yeah. If you want to know more, look for some of my videos about fake pregnancies, how they fake it. Apparently, Fit to Drop and Kate Garraway was playing tennis. Is that the behaviour of a regular mother? Just like Lara Trump was lifting weights and all sorts of rubbish. The mainstream lie ridiculously about people, about these folks. Right, I'm going to go back to the live chat for a minute, because I don't want to miss anyone. Lumpy Gas in a Vacuum, lovely to see you in the chat. You can hear the cat. Yeah, you're absolutely right. She was making a bit of a racket. I was going to ask, actually, if anyone could hear her. Rab says, Katie states she had brain surgery and was sick. Yeah, and Lumpy points out they do indeed get a lot of surgeries. Maria says a good podcast by Miri AF Devious Deception of Derek Draper. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, we'll have a look for that, actually. Let me see if I can find it. I will need to copy and paste the name. Where are we? Miri AF Devious. Okay. Yep, I think I've seen the article you are referring to. Or, sorry, the person. The Devious Deception of Derek Diddams Draper. Interesting. Thank you for recommending this one, Maria. They say, it was terrible when Jim from Neighbours died. Do you remember it? It was so awful. He'd been having those chest pains, but he just brushed them off like men. Then one day he collapsed. Helen was the one who found him. It was so traumatic and, of course, heartbreaking for his children. I think Scott and Charlene even had to cut the honeymoon short and rush back. Why is this person in an article about Derek Draper mentioning Jim Robinson from Neighbours? I do remember it. It was tragic. I will agree with you. The above paragraph is roughly equivalent. Is a roughly equivalent sentiment to the one being expressed by those persons who are taking seriously the sensational world stage soap opera of the death of Derek Draper. It even sounds like one of those straight-to-TV overacted Hallmark movies. Well, it is. So much of it, so much of Derek Draper's illness has been televised, as it were. This person says he's a vile, he'll be labelled a vile ghoul for saying so, and for failing to appropriately grieve the loss of someone they've never met, playing a part on a stage. Yep, complete. I don't know much about this person. I've never heard of Miri AF, but I gotta say, completely agree with this first bit that I've been reading. So again, thank you for the suggestion. This person is saying what Katie Hopkins didn't. Almost, I don't know, perhaps she doesn't want to lose her mainstream status, or perhaps being... Okay, I know that because apparently 13,000 different bots instantly informed me of exactly this on Twitter the moment I cast a skeptical eye over Draper's alleged death from long COVID. By the way, Twitter, we will... Let me find my profile a minute. Do you know how many responses I got to this one? To my tweet about my video? 0. Absolutely none. Which I suppose isn't a bad thing. Well, I don't know. Better than getting attacked by bots. Yeah, looks like an interesting blog post. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I do massively appreciate you letting us know about this content producer. Thank you. Let's see. About Miri, we'll have a look at. Oh, it's okay. Oh, she's got the pink on. She's got the obnoxious pink on. But never mind. I'm going to look past that. I started this site to bring together my various pieces of write-ins. Please feel free to use them, share them, copy them. My strongly worded letters, but I also enjoy wading into the most conscientious subject matters. Pantomime plague, I think we know what we're talking about there. The toxic prick. And complain to pubs that try and make her remove her hat. Okay. Oh, Miri AF. That's the hat she's on about then, I guess. Quite a cool hat, actually, I will say that. I think I would applaud anyone I saw wearing that in a pub, or anywhere else for that matter. And it sounds like the cat on my lap agrees with me. They're on Facebook and Instagram. You know I am on Instagram. I might give this person a follow. Yeah, you can... Do you know what? I'm going to put a link to this person's website so you can find this page for yourself if you want to find them. We'll put it in the live chat. Miri AF. I will, of course, also be putting it in the description of today's video. yeah, I would be interested to see some of their other posts, I think. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, as I say. Oh, goodness. The cat's trying to clamber over everything now. I might have to put him out the room. Right. I'll take this opportunity just to catch up with the live chat. If I can see it, because, yeah, she's getting right in the way of the display. Okay, right. In fact, this might not be a bad time to jump to an intermission. We certainly will need to go to one in the next... If we're going to go on beyond 11, then we'll certainly need to take an intermission sooner or later. I do have another subject that I want to cover before we finish the stream this evening. And we've not necessarily completely finished with Kate Garraway, but I think we are going to move on in just a minute. However, I'm going to resist the urge to to talk about... I've seen so many articles. Look, every time I click... Let me bring my display back up one more time. Silly me, I just muted myself, my apologies. Lucky I noticed that one. Right. Yeah, this is the subject we're going to move on to in a minute. About maps of Britain. Every time I open a new tab, I'll get this thing. Flu symptoms, what to look out for as COVID and colds are rife. It's endless. It's constant. Every time. So many articles I see, maybe because I'm stupid enough to click them. It's still, it's never going away. Nicola Sturgeon responds to reports she deleted her WhatsApp messages. Who cares? Yeah, WhatsApp, you're allowed to delete your messages, believe it or not. You've got every right to do that. Who gives a stuff? Anyway, so yeah, when we come back after our intermission, which we're going to go to in just a minute after I've caught up with the live chat, I do ask if anyone has come across any subjects or any content producers that they think worthy of a mention. I would be good to hear from you. Okay, so before we go to our intermission then, in summary, Katie Hopkins, the video she put out was designed to just cause more annoyance, really. They want people offended, and the fact, yeah, again, going to the text, Obnoxious Pink, I was going to call it Obnoxious Drunk, because she looks like an obnoxious drunk as she says all these words. It reminds me of a clip I saw of David Icke, where he's talking to his son. I did look for it, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, apologies to put this person back on the screen again. I hope you can... this was the video anyway. And... yeah, you don't need to hear what she's saying because you can see it all written anyway. But all this is designed to do is just make her look as horrible as possible. This is incredibly deliberate. Just like when it showed David Icke, and I did look for a clip of it, but I couldn't find it. I have shown it before on this live stream though. David Icke's talking to his son, and his son, about some, probably even talking a bit of truth, actually. I don't disagree with everything that either David Icke or Katie Hopkins says. They do, no doubt, talk a bit of truth every now and then. However, they deliberately make themselves look as obnoxious as possible. Yeah, David Icke down in a can of special brew or Tennant Super or whatever it was, extra strong beer. Just, and they showed him with a big beer gut. Like, it was just unfortunate. And it's typical. It is typical. Just like when David Icke discredited himself by going on Terry Wogan and claiming a load of stuff that is obviously laughable. I hope I've summarised that. Oh, Skeptic points out that Kay Hopkins is 33. Actually, good idea. I hadn't even thought of. Let's go with Katie. 19 and 13. Hopkins is a 44, which is also, yeah, Katie Hopkins in Cowdean is a 44, another dual number. And you're saying Kay Hopkins as well is indeed a 33, so yeah, they get, they do like to, sorry, those coincidences keep coming up is what I should be saying. Not who likes to do what, I'm not here to make those guesses, but I certainly see a very familiar pattern with these people. And here she is talking about Stephen Hawkins. Okay, Stephen being on... Yes. Okay, I don't think it's a surprise that... Okay, whatever. I'm gonna drop that subject. I'm not actually gonna mention. We're gonna leave. What's his name? Epstein for this episode. I did cover him. I have covered him a couple of times in a couple of subjects. Right. So. Oh, Lumpy mentions a BitChute, Transpocalypse, something like that. Oh, okay. Yes, I know Mr. E. I've seen him. I remember him on YouTube, and he has gone over onto BitChute now. I have found him over there. Right, I've got a cat that's bugging me to take an intermission, so I am going to have to jump over onto that in just a second. I do hope you will be with us at the end of the intermission. It'll be about 5 minutes long. But I will always give Transpocalypse now a bit of a shout out. I'm sure he's still over there. Let's see. BitChute, again, another channel, another platform where you can find some of my content. And I have noticed that after about 4 days they upload my live streams. This was my Negative Dignity one. So if you... yeah, anyway, let's look for I can't even spell that. I know he doesn't go by Mystery anymore, as far as I know. Or he might have... Maybe it is Mystery Watchman. I'd have to log in, which... Alright, give us a sec. Let me see if I can log in, and we'll find a clip of Transpocalypse now, if you've not come across him before. Right. Ugh. Nope. I can't actually... I'm sure I can find it. Transpocalypse. I know that was certainly his name over on YouTube, but he certainly goes by something different now. I didn't know... I think Russell Brand's over on there as well. Who knows? Mr. E Transpocalypse Now. Maybe this is the channel. No, it isn't. Huh. I would like to share a link to him. Hang on, what was it you said the channel was called? Transpocalypse Watchman. Oh, if I could log in, then I'd be able to... I'd be able to check. Right. I don't even know what my username is over there, so... I know what my password is, that's saved, but not my username. Got it. We're in. We are in. Oh, are we actually? Nope. That was register in House City. Okay, we are in, meaning I'll be able to find the... right, who am I subscribed to? Mudlight Digging Up the Thames. Apocalypse Watchman Now by Mr. E. This is a channel that I will be linking to in both the live chat and the description. Let me do that now. Oh, he is called Mr. E over on BitChute. Good for him. Right, I'm going to share this link now. And then we're going to go to our intermission. Mr. E on... Although, yeah, no, I haven't watched so much of his stuff now because I don't really watch BitChute an awful lot. Oh, it looks like Sunstar Thunder Lightning saying good night. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. I hope you're doing well in your part of the world. And thank you. It's always great to see you in the chat. Yeah, you are one of the names, by the way. When who I thank for their support of this channel. So thanks for being with us this evening, and everyone else. Right, I've put that in the live chat, haven't I? Yes, I have. Okay, so yeah, before we do, I will say a quick thank you to Maria, Sunstar Thunder Lightning, Skeptic 936, Rab MCM, Lumpy Gas in a Vacuum, Bible U was with us earlier, Jeff Gashead was with us earlier in the stream. I hope you're still watching. If anyone else wants to shout out, then yeah, by all means let us know. Oh, that's good to hear, Sunstar. Have a great week. I hope hope to catch up with you soon, okay? Okay, yeah, I will ask for your patience then as I take a quick 5-minute break then. And I'll leave you with a video. Let's see. No, that isn't it. Right, yeah, I'll certainly be back in a minute. And I hope you can join us for the rest of the stream. If you do need to leave, actually, obviously I totally understand. It'd be really appreciated if you could hit the thumbs up button before you go. And yeah, that is always good. Right. In fact, we've got a little animation for that one, I believe, haven't we? Oh. Yeah, there's the old hit the thumbing up button, whacking subscribe and sharing on social media. They are 3 ways that you can show your appreciation. Okay, we're going to jump over to our intermission screen. where I'm going to leave you with another video of mine from 2022. 2020 this was. It was called Scripted Reality from November. Okay, thanks for your patience. As I say, I hope you can make it to the second part of the stream. We'll be going on probably till about 11:30 at the latest. God willing. Okay, back in a second. Hi everyone. Now, believe it or not, there was a time when uniformed police in Britain were more than just COVID marshals who would enforce government advice like it's the law of the land. Well, at least that's what programmes like Ultimate Police Interceptors would have us believe. Now, before the masses were forced to act like OCD sufferers, the police would actually tackle criminals and track down and catch ne'er-do-wells, like in the clip we're about to watch. This is from a show where a camera crew follow police as they seem to be very fortunate in that every time the camera crew's around there's always big action. They're never just removing beggars off the streets or tracking down some kid who forgot to return his library book. No, in this programme you see wall-to-wall action. Now, like this clip we're about to see, let's listen to what these kids on this bike have done wrong.
It's mid-afternoon near Middlesbrough's Grove Hill estate. Liam Sewell is tailing an uninsured dirt bike with two lads aboard.
Okay, so it's two lads on a bike, and this guy seems to have some intel that they're uninsured drivers. Whether he's making an assumption or he knows that for a fact, we're not sure. But he's decided, rather than flashing his lights and pulling them over and speaking to him, he's going to tail them, track them all around Middlesbrough, and then, as he says towards the end of this clip, he's going to safely bring them to a stop. As we see, that isn't quite what happens.
If we wait here, they'll come back. It's a great spot, be able to box them in and hopefully be able to get them off the bike safely.
It could be a long wait.
Okay, it could be a long wait, but what do you know, it isn't. Within minutes, these bikers turn up. How this guy knew these motorcycle riders who he was tracking on his own were going to come around this corner, I don't know, but look how they come off. That's because he blocks off the path and causes them to slide off the bike. Now, bear in mind, all they've done is cycling without insurance, and yet he takes this kid down like he's a wanted murderer. But notice that the kid takes his helmet off, and as we see shortly, there's a good reason why he does that.
Down now! So he goes for the driver, who's resisting arrest. Liam gives him a blast of pepper spray.
Okay, he's now been pepper sprayed. Now, this policeman is assuming this guy's got no insurance because he must have already known who was riding. And now we see why the helmet had to come off. Have a look at this hold he's doing. Does it look familiar? This nail on the neck, of course, has been seen before with George Floyd. And it is a theatrical nail on the neck, which, as we can see, gives the kid perfect opportunity to escape the grip because there's no real force being pushed down. And like I say, I think this is a theatrical arrest done in a controlled environment. I mean, at this point, it becomes ridiculous because these two passerbys just happen to jump in and offer the policeman some help. But it really seems to get suspect when the backup arrives. Now, bear in mind, all this kid has done is riding his bike without insurance. He didn't refuse to stop. I mean, he had an accident and then legged it. But look how many officers turn up. I mean, people in uniform. But what is going on at this point, just before he tries to handcuff him? Is that a bottle of mace he's got in his hands? Or, if we take a closer look, is it a bottle of ketchup? He's squirting something into his hand. I'm going to say ketchup. Why is he pressing that bottle down into the guy's hand while the plainclothes officers come in to help round up this uninsured driver? I mean, is this really the best use of police resources? It's a bit over the top for my liking. And look at the dupe and delight on this police officer's face. I think he knows this was a exercise, a drill. And now look at all the blood on the same hand that the police officer was just squeezing that bottle onto. Coincidence? I think not. Now, as always in fabricated events that they try and pass off as real, even on programs such as Police Interceptors, they always give it away with their telltale signs, such as the numbers. Now, what is the badge number of this police officer? Let's have a little look. 2222 or 44. They're once again using their numbers. And of course, the bottle of ketchup did come up again, once again in that episode of Ultimate Police Interceptors. So it didn't go to waste. Nice bit of Halloween trick blood there. Okay, well, this has been Bobby Zines, and as always, I welcome your comments and questions on any of my videos. Do you think these police shows, going right back to Cops in America, are perhaps all scripted and faked? I know I certainly do. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Hi everyone. Now, believe it or not, there was a time when uniformed police in Britain were more than just COVID marshals who would enforce government advice like it's the law of the land. Well, at least that's what programs like Ultimate Police... Okay, welcome back. Apologies that break overran slightly. And yeah, the video looped again. Started playing a second time. Right, I am now back cat-free to finish this evening's live stream. Yeah, that was Scripted Reality. The video is available on this channel if you want to find the original. If not, I hope you enjoyed that little catch-up. I want to say hello to Number One Matrix Man. Lovely to see you in the chat. Another new name. And yeah, Skeptic pointing out a bit more new, the numbers being squeezed in again with the police is indeed Pythagorean 33. As I said earlier in the stream, I'm not fluent in numerology by any stretch of the imagination, and there are a lot of YouTubers and people in general that cover it in a great more depth than I do and know about it a lot better than me, but as far as I know, from what it looks like to me, it could just be a calling card. Like, I don't know, if you get the... I don't know, if people speak in numbers, then I guess it's a lot... You know, if you understand the language, then yeah, it would make sense, I imagine. Yeah, Sunstar points out the red stuff being squeezed into that kid's hand. What a strange situation that is. I do believe a lot of these supposed reality shows, I mean, I'm not going to say every time, every police program where they follow them around with cameras. It could be that every single one is staged, every single one is where they film a drill, or maybe they do squeeze in the odd genuine story. But if they're hiring cameramen and film, you know, they want to make a program, they want to have action, they don't want it just to be a day where the police are you know, having to respond to some person just wasting their time. You know, they want action. They want runaway motorbikes, thieves or whatever it is. Or sorry, uninsured motorbike people. They want to see action. They don't want just the run-of-the-mill everyday life. I mean, they've got to make themselves seem like they're useful. They're not just a drain on the resources of everyone. Right. Okay. We will head back to our final subject of the evening. I did come across this article, again in the Mirror. Let me bring up my display. Apologies for this horrible massive ad. In order to see the headline, in fact I can take it to read-in mode and might see it a bit better, although it's more of a visual thing rather than the article itself. Fascinating map shows what Britain would look like if all the Earth's ice melted. So completely hypothetical. No suggestion that all of Earth's ice is going to melt. Well, we'll read it in a sec. Let's just find the actual picture. That this is it. The claim is that should, as we're led to believe, man-made climate change. I mean, such a ridiculous name. The climate changes every minute of the day. It's getting hotter, it's getting colder. It used to be called a more frightening name, global warming, the world warming up, with the consequence that the ice caps at the poles, this was the claim, were all going to melt. And sea levels would rise, and places like Manchester would be a coastal town. Peterborough and Norwich would be under the oceans. Bristol. The thing is, this isn't a new, the map issued after the research makes for grim reading. We'll go back to our reading version so we can actually see it. Right, this startling map shows what Great Britain would look like if all Earth's ice melted today. No question of that. The people that made this map did research, and it's not looking good. Major towns and cities including London, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Bristol, Plymouth, Norwich, Peterborough, Bournemouth could disappear if this climate disaster was to occur. If all the ice melts, sea levels could rise by 84 metres and millions of people would be displaced, leaving Birmingham as the largest city in the UK. Hang on. Anyway, what a load of BS. I take you to this video over on YouTube. You don't need to hear the audio. But yeah, here is a time lapse of a glass of ice, and as we can see, the ice is actually, at this point, the water is indeed rising, and that is because, water's being formed. So that's fine. It was previously just ice. At the moment, the ice is pressing against the glass, so it's not just dropping to the bottom of the glass as it would naturally. However, as you start to see, the only reason the water level rises is because the ice is pushing it. Once the ice is no longer touching the sides, okay, we've still got a good quantity of ice there, and here is the water level. I hope you can see where my mouse cursor is pointing. As we watch it rise, I'll leave my mouse where it is. The ice continues to melt, and what do you know? Oh, hang on. The water the level, once it reaches the point where the ice is no longer pushing it up by, dropping down because it against the sides of the glass, that water doesn't rise anymore. So don't worry too much about ice melting causing sea levels to rise, because I would say they won't. Not that there's any reason for any cold places such as the North Pole, not that I've ever been or know anything like it, but let's say places like Greenland, very icy, parts of Russia, Canada. If that all heated up, I don't think melting ice would necessarily cause the sea to rise. But who knows? Anyway, what time limit did that article give on it? Okay, in fact, they're not even saying this is going to happen. Scientists, by the way, artists, let's say, created the worrying graphics. Is that what scientists do? Make graphics? To illustrate research carried out by the London's Benfield Hazard Research Centre. The only probably purpose for the Benfield Hazard Research Centre to exist is the off chance that we're all going to be flooded one day. A 13-metre map shows what could happen if both the Greenland and West Antarctica ice sheets melt. The 84-metre map is a doomsday scenario showing the potential effects. Potential. How potential do you think these are? If East Antarctica, disintegrates. Utter rubbish, I would say. Extreme events like ice shelf collapses, or heat waves can have multiplying effects that reach across the world. I don't know if you're fortunate enough to live near the sea. I'm not myself, but I've been visiting. One place I visited fairly recently was Weymouth, where I went. How old was I? I was probably coming up to 40, and it was a place I hadn't been to since I was probably a teenager. So 20 years since I'd been to Weymouth. And the sea levels, in the morning the tide would come up and just lap against where the sand ended, and it had been doing that for 20 years. It hadn't changed at all. Right, the enormous Antarctic heat wave that happened last time, the staggering loss of ice shelves, it just wasn't really relevant in 1990. So things are changing, and they're okay. So we have had. Okay, right. An AI tool was used to add an extra layer to the editing process. You can report any errors, so it could be prone to errors. And they point out, as happens pretty much every year, some areas get flooded. Flooding does happen here in the United Kingdom. We are surrounded by water. The reason for flooding is, there's I guess they just need to, I don't know, who knows, excess water. Right. Maria says, Rob MCM says, ice has the same density as liquid water. So, would it even have such an effect? And Maria says, just got back from Latvia, -15 and snow daily. A bit of global warming would have been welcome. Yeah, fortunately, our ecosystem, our weather is perfectly tuned for our survival. I think in fact, slightly off the subject here, what was it I went to? If you've ever gone to AI, Microsoft Bing, they offer you an AI assistant. If I ask it, what do you know about Bobby Zines, which is the previous name of my old channel, apparently they call me a climate change denier, or have they changed it now? He scrutinizes and offers alternative explanations for well-documented public events. That's not what they said originally. And the first time I made that search, it said that I call out climate change. I think I've got it somewhere. I'll have to find. I did do a. Yeah, I saved it as a screenshot. I'll see if I can find it very quickly. Just the original write-up that it gave me. Let's see. Right, the original answer to that question. Here we go. Let me bring my display back. Okay, the original time I asked it what it knows about Bobby Zines, which at the time I think was the name of my channel. I found a YouTube channel called ObeLive that's been renamed. mentions my video subscribers. The channel features live podcasts, shorts and videos on topics such as fake news, climate change and more. And I never actually considered myself being someone who looked up climate change. I never really thought of myself as someone who covered that particularly, but I guess I have actually made a few vids on it. It's just another thing designed to terrify people and make them believe that they need to rely on the people that made that ridiculous map that would supposedly, how bad things could be. All designed to keep us living in fear. I think if we're not afraid that we're gonna, if we're not in fear of being ill, catching an illness, then we're in fear of being, killed by a terrorist. Or if we're not scared of terrorists, then we're scared that, is it aliens? Has that been the latest thing that they claim, they're reporting on the news at the moment? Aliens, how ridiculous. Okay, we are actually going to start wrapping the stream up in a minute. As I say this every single stream I do, I stop making sense after 11:30. I get too tired. So yeah, we are fast approaching 11:30 now. I did say I was going to come back once Derek Draper's funeral had been, done, and see how many of my guesses I got in that earlier live stream. But right, well, yeah, as far as I know, they haven't had the funeral. As I say, I don't follow mainstream media that closely, so I have no idea. We'll have a look in a minute before we finish at what's going on with Derek Draper's funeral. I'm curious about where they'll hold it. I mean, it will be a big event. I guess it must be coming up soon. Let's have a look. Let's see what info. Right. Derek Draper funeral. Okay, here we go. They have revealed the funeral date, time and venue. And we'll look if the venue hosted any other possibly questionable... What on earth? No, I don't want to enable whatever that is. Okay, here is the man himself. I would say, actually looks quite feminine if you ask me. I would say wig, hairpiece, fake beard, probably loads of the face is probably prosthetics or loads of makeup to give this person a particular look. Just like Kate Garraway could probably be played by about 10, probably numerous people could play the role of Derek Draper if they needed him to. The author and former political advisor. Yeah, and here's, everything Derek Draper stood for was being UK's longest suffering bullspit 19 patient and spending 13 months in hospital. I'm going to say that is a different actor, a different person to that. I'm going to say, yeah, not the same person. That's just what I believe. Right. This article will, of course, cover everything about... all we want to know is when is the funeral, and we have to listen to Kate Garraway going on about Derek was surrounded by his family. I have so much more to say, and I will do in due course, but for now I want to thank all the medical teams. Yep. Who was Derek Draper? When's the frickin' funeral? That's all we want to know. What was Derek Draper's cause of death? Now, of course, when... Right, and we get to the bottom of this article. As of now, the date has not been disclosed. Hang on, what was the name of this article? I thought it was that they'd finally revealed it. Yeah, details revealed. They didn't reveal anything. What an absolute crock. Funeral notices, okay. It'll just be more time wasting, won't it? Who knows? Who knows? Right, I doubt very much this will have anything other than... Yep, still hasn't got any information about when the funeral is. Just a load of people who have left, thoughts saying how much they miss him. And I'm not going to mock those people, because some of them may well very genuinely, be missing, be grieving for this person who never really existed. Right, before we go, actually, I will let you know of something I want to... Yeah, I'm over on TikTok, and I have been uploading a few videos onto TikTok. Now, one of the things I tried doing on this channel a while back was... Let's have a look. If you look at my playlists, you will see there's one called Act Short, and it was about all the actors on TV, well, particularly on soaps. Act Short was Actor Shortage, and here is... Oh, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, these are all the videos I've done. Anyway, I do plan to start doing Act Short again. However, I'm going to do them straight to TikTok in 1 minute episode. 1 minute long episodes. I did originally show a load of people who I was going to... Yeah, they were all going to come under my scrutiny. I think I did about 3 episodes and packed it in the end. Right, okay, this isn't the right video, but it's... Let's see, I'm sure I linked to the proper one. I'm not sure. Who knows? Right, here we are. We've got it now. I'm sure we can find the original list of faces and whatnot that I was... Yeah, I was going to, put matches. For everyone in this picture, they have a match, which is another actor or character who I believe is done by the same people. Anyway, I'm going to start uploading those videos to TikTok. Let's see. Again, links to TikTok, BitChute, Twitter, all the other places I upload can be found in the description of this evening's video. If you want to check any of these places out. Then yes, please do. But I will be uploading some more content here, particularly my Act Short ones. I'll probably put them on YouTube as well. I'm not sure. Right, before we do go, I would like to thank... I know I thanked you once, but there might be a few new names in. If you're watching and you want to shout out before we leave, then now is the time to leave a comment. Yeah, big thanks to Maria, Rab MCM, Skeptic, 936, Sunstar Thunder Lightning, Lumpy Gas in a Vacuum, Number One Matrix Man, Maria Ellender, Bible U, Jeff Gashead, and I don't think I've missed anyone. If I have, please leave a comment and let me know. Leave something in the live chat before we go. And I've also already reminded you of this, but if you would also like to take the opportunity, if you want to say thanks for tonight's stream, please remember to hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're not already, and share this video over on social media. There are also a couple of other places, links once again in the description of tonight's video, where you can show your appreciation in another way if you wish. And there's some names on screen of people who have done that. So big thanks to you. a couple of those names we've seen in the live chat tonight. But yeah, I really appreciate anyone who even just watches my video. You know, I couldn't ask for more than someone just taking the time to watch my content. Leaving a comment is like, wow. The fact someone watched my content and was moved to leave a comment is really, something I'm very grateful for. And if they want to subscribe and go all the way to checking out my Patreon account page, then yeah, whatever part you play in that stage of it, it is hugely appreciated, and I thank you. I see Maria saying good night, so Maria, thank you for being part of tonight's stream, and everyone else in the live chat, who I've already thanked. And also a big thanks to those of you who leave a comment in the, if you're watching this after I've streamed live. I know not everyone can watch, can watch it in one go. Okay, where are we? So yeah, I know not everyone can tune in live, so if you're watching after the fact and you want to leave a comment, huge thanks. Okay, I do find when I try and end the live stream, I start rambling and don't know when to shut up, so I'm going to put our background music on. Hopefully it won't completely drown me out. Hopefully you can still hear me, as I thank you for tuning in. And let you know I will be back at some point. Okay, have a wonderful week wherever you are. I guess some of you probably still got the best part of your Sunday to go. Others are probably starting their Monday. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you soon. Have a wonderful week. Good night.